Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today and stock trade ideas. We're going to cover both in this video, so it'll probably be a 20-minute video, but the second half, at least more than the second half, is going to be all about trade ideas and reviewing those stocks. All right, so we'll start off with the Dow Industrials. The Dow was down 123 points yesterday. So pretty good break, and it got down below the low of the last 2 weeks or so, and this is the lowest close since back here on July 11th. So what is that, 2 weeks ago? Okay, so we're a little bit of a pullback, closed down below the 10, but again, in the past we haven't gotten any follow through, and no follow through, no follow through, no follow through, no follow through. So the question is going to be, do we get any follow through coming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? And we're right at this trend line from the low in April, and we got this trend line, so we pull right to it, just like we did back here on July 10th. So we'll see. It was pretty good. It was a pretty good little break, but let's take a look at the Dow on a weekly basis. It does look like we've just gone sideways the last 4 weeks in here. The entire body between the open and close was inside the open and close of the prior week. So it's kind of a sideways consolidation, actually. So, I mean, you don't catch that when you first look at this. You think, oh, well, it's breaking down. But then when you really look at the last 5 days worth of trading versus the previous 5 days, we're really just inside the trading activity. And so we're sideways. So we'll see. The next one, the S&P 500, again, a little less dramatic. Actually, it's closed right at the 10. It's not even close to taking out the lows of the last 2 weeks back in here. So it's continuing to show a stronger trend to the upside. On the weekly basis, it's a doji. So indecision basically is the message. And the market's trying to figure out what it wants to do. And so really, again, we've got this sideways four-week type of thing, or 3 weeks since this move, let's put it that way. The NASDAQ composite, a lot of little, look at these last 5 days, okay? Very small days, very small, indecisive closing, basically closing where you open, closing pretty close to where you open. Well, this is kind of an indecisive message. And if you look at the high from, what is this, July 3rd, so basically the whole month of July has been in this little range right in here. Okay, so the next one is on the NASDAQ weekly. We're getting divergence, and of course we've got divergence on those other indicators too, on those other indices, but we're getting divergence here for sure on the weekly basis. We're still trending up, but we'll see if that divergence leads to something like this or greater. Right now, we're not seeing any breakdown. Okay, so that's the market. I mean, it's just, sideways consolidation. It is what it is. You can't make it be anything different than what it is. And, it's the dog days of summer, I guess, is what you say. Now, there's plenty of action in the stocks, in the individual stocks. So that's a totally different story. Now, the short-term trading index, 104. The 10-day is at 0.997, so it's still right in here, kind of going sideways in here also, not down below this 0.9 that I'm looking for on the extreme. Now, that could happen pretty easily. Of course, I've said that before. Now, here's the VIX. Rallied up. Of course, you expect that on a day like yesterday when the market was down over 100 points. Now, the interesting thing is the 10-day moving average has stayed above the 21 in here. So this still looks like this is trying to move to the high side, move up. And it'll be interesting to see if this day was a, kind of a harbinger of something to come and a break to the upside. And it's not sure there's a whole lot more to read into that. I mean, DI plus is greater than DI minus. The RSI on it, it's greater than 50. So it's all looking like the VIX wants to move higher, which would be negative for the stock market. All right, in the high-low index back up here, because I created that earlier, we've dropped down to the lowest reading on the high-low index so we got a 43 reading, and we got something, let's see, the 62, 43 reading right here on May 20th. Okay, so this is the lowest reading since May 20th. Now that's fairly substantial, but it's not breaking down below zero yet. That kind of where the lows are exceeding new highs. So we haven't gone that negative on the market yet. We still have new highs exceeding new lows. It just happens to be the lowest reading in about 2 months. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's take a look at the ETFs, the key ETFs that we have. The semiconductor right here. Semiconductors last 3 days, pretty good little break. Pretty good breakdown out of here. And you get the 10 crossing below the 21. That hasn't happened in quite a while. And if you notice, after it stayed above it and it broke down below it, then it started chopping sideways correction that was going on. This could be signaling something's coming with the semiconductors doing that type of action. The home builders are still fairly negative in here. They continue to sell off, even though you have these little bounces, these little rallies like you do in downtrends. And I would be looking at a minimum for it to get probably down to the bottom here. 30 is the bottom of this wedge, and then we'll see where we go from there. But the home builders is saying, thumbs down on economic outlook is what they're saying. Now the financial guys, where are they? Here we go. Financial guys are still saying it's sideways. We're not getting any strong signal out of them like the semiconductors. So these are the last guys to hold up right now. So that's kind of interesting. And we'll just have to continue to watch. And that's why we monitor these three, just to see what they're signaling, what are they doing for the market. Okay, that's it on the market today. That's 7 minutes. That's long enough. We're going to get into our first. We're going to talk about trade ideas that we exited last week, and Twitter was like one of the first ones we got out of. We got into it here on the 15th with the break of the low here after we got this cross to the downside. We got out on this day here because it was a close above the 2-day high, and I didn't like that. And so we got out of the position, and I think we took like a 10.5% hit on the option trade. So not great. This didn't work. It didn't play to the downside. So now actually I'm going to be talking about a different scenario, and I'll come back to Twitter in a minute. All right, so Chihu 360 is another one that hit us a little bit stronger. Again, we got this moving average cross, and I went with the low back in here. Can't remember exactly what day it was, the 12th. Oh, back, where was it? All right. No. Well, I got my dates wrong on it. I know we got it at 89.04. Okay, it was in here. Okay, so it was a break of this high, and this is the low, 89. I think what we were doing was we were going with a because we got to close below the 10, and it was somewhere in here anyway, and so we weren't in very long, and then we got this reversal back out of it. I thought it was going to break down. We got this reversal back up to the upside, and actually got a new buy signal here at 91.88. Okay, so exited the puts at 91.88, and we took a 42% hit on the puts. Now, why didn't I buy calls? Because I got sick of looking at the puts and the prices on the options, the spreads of being $70, $80 between bid and ask on Chihu 360. So I said, okay, I'm not trading options on Chihu 360 anymore. So, from my, where I got a buy signal, it went up 10 points from my buy signal. Now, that's great. You can trade stock. You can trade this on an intraday basis, on a day trade. I mean, the average daily, the average true range is $3.62. That's nice. That's a lot of movement intraday. And you can buy and trade the stock, but I'm not trading options on this because I do not like it when the liquidity on an option series sits there and you know, you get the bid is, you know, $4.20 or $420 and the ask is $500. Well, you know, you buy it if you buy at the ask, and again, I'm not telling anybody that you have to buy at the ask. I do that on the trade ideas for sure for conservative entries and exits, okay? And I've talked about that before. But still, when you have that kind of spread, if you're wrong in the position or you have to get out quickly, you're screwed. I mean, it's just because you turn around, if you had to sell at the bid, you know you're going to lose, you know, $50, $60, $80, you know, an option just right off the bat, just because of the spread in the bid and ask. So that's why I get irritated with options on stocks like Chihu 360, and that's frustrating because this is, you know, this stock moves around a lot, but you know, and that's why they have that spread. You know, those guys on the floor are going to cover their derrieres. All right, that's it. That's enough of Chihu 360. All right. Let's talk about Best Buy, not Bed Bath & Beyond, Best Buy. All right, we got into Best Buy here. After we got this close up here, we got in around 30.16. We suffered through a couple little days of pullback, and then it started coming our way and continued the trend. I'm still a little disappointed that this has not moved as fast as I would have liked or come up and tested this high or above your 32. So right now it's been 5 days. We got in on this day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so now I've got a stop that's in here. I've got the details on the trade ideas page. And if we get stopped out, we get stopped out. But right now I'm riding it because we're above the 10, and we'll see if we can continue to push. You know, nice things happen. Nice surprises happen when you're above the 10. Okay, so the next one is Citrix Systems. Okay, nice things happen when you get above the 10. Okay, so Citrix Systems, we got in on this day, and let me see, can't remember the exact entry, but it was right around 64, I believe, maybe slightly high. So we kind of had to suffer through a couple of days again, and then wham, and then here comes the earnings report. So, you know, I was bullish on this stock. I saw this big potential head and shoulders in here in this move, and I think we're, you know, moving higher. And that's why I just held through the earnings report, because I thought I'm going with the stock chart. You know, I'm not going to sit here and worry about the earnings report. And sometimes the earnings report will take your head off. But a lot of times, and I personally believe that more times than not, if you stay with the trend, you're going to be okay. But everybody's got their, you know, preferences and ways of trading. So, boy, I can tell you what, I can show you an example on Tesla, how you should have stayed with the trend. But anyway, all right, let's stay here with Citrix Systems. So up here, we sold half the position. So we're out with profit on half the options, and we've basically got to stop at break even on the other half. And I'd love to see this thing just continue to push higher and higher. Okay, Green Mountain Coffee, which is now Keurig Green Mountain. This one we went short here with puts, and we've been suffering for the last 4, 5, 6 days, and I don't like it. I don't like the way it's going sideways on me. We've got a stop that we've got in place where we know we're going to exit, but I am waiting for this thing to break, and so far it hasn't. So I have to keep watching that and see how the trading activity goes. Oh, that reminds me too, because this is one of the stocks I did put a video out on. If you check on my website, there's a page called Stock Chart Technical Analysis, and I am putting a lot of video updates of stocks there, of the stocks I follow. And I've started with the most active stocks. So, you know, like Apple, Facebook, Twitter, working my way through the list with the most active we traded in terms of the 50-day moving average of volume to the least active, okay? And I've got those out there. I'm pretty much caught up. I'm trying to do 1 to 2 a day. So I just wanted to let you know about that, and I did have one on Gary Green Mountain out there. So okay, let's see. The next one is Jinko Solar Holding, and this is another one we got in after we had this moving average cross, and then the break of this low after the trading above the 10. The break of the low is where we entered, and it's been selling off nicely, but it has resisted breaking this 25 area. Okay, so we'll see this bullish action on Friday. I mean, I've got a stop in place as to I know where I'll exit, but again, a little disappointed not seeing more follow through on this. And if we get stopped out, we get stopped out, but you just never know. And right now, the short-term trend is to the downside, although this has been kind of chopping sideways. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This has been a stretched out head and shoulders. I talked about this before, you know, kind of a very stretched out head and shoulders. And when you have a downward trending neckline, it kind of loses some of the power of the move anyway, even if it does break down, just so you know. The more powerful is when you have trend lines that are more horizontal. So if this breaks this, I'm thinking we might get a decent move in here to the downside, but it hasn't broken it yet. Okay, at least not on a closing basis anyway. All right, the next one is C-Trip. The Chinese stocks are taking off, and that reminds me, I looked at the Shanghai index yesterday, and it has taken off like a rocket all of a sudden and is breaking trend lines to the upside. And I talked about that. If you remember my post on Wednesday night, my post was, let's not forget about China. Okay. So, you know, go back and read my post or whatever. But, you know, here we go. We got, you know, China's coming back. And now a lot of these Chinese stocks are taking off. Like I think Baidu was on fire. I mean, we talked about Qihu 360. I mean, look at C-Trip. I mean, this huge move. This is all-time highs for this stock, okay? We got in right in here at 61.88 with calls. I exited half the position up in here around 65.5 or so, 65.5, and basically going to try to ride it. I think that this is in a third wave, and it could be in a minor third wave of a third wave, which should be the strongest piece. If that's the case, this thing's going to go. So we'll see. Be fun to watch. Okay, now we're into new trade ideas. So we're going to go back to Twitter. And yes, I am going to look at an entry on Monday for calls above a certain point. It'll be back up in here somewhere. I'll have the details on the trade ideas page. I want this thing to tell me and show me that it wants to move up before I get in on the calls. So I think this has got a shot that it's turning. We'll see. And we, you know, again, there is a video out on that stock chart page about Twitter also. And although it was done on Wednesday, so the data was through Tuesday, so it's a little bit dated, and you'll find that, and I talk about that. And the other one is U.S. Steel. And U.S. Steel, I also have a video I just put out on U.S. Steel. When did I do that? It was yesterday, I think. And I'm actually pretty bullish on U.S. Steel on how this looks. I mean, this looks like a big head and shoulders bottom. Okay. And I go into more detail looking at the weekly chart and the daily chart in the video, so take a look at that. But this looks like a big head and shoulders bottom. The symmetry looks nice, although the symmetry in the head's a little bit ugly. You know, I'm a picture kind of guy, so I'm always looking for, you know, how things visually look to me. The shoulder symmetry is kind of nice, the way it, you know, it's doing this and it's doing this in reverse to this side, doing it to this side. The neckline is close to horizontal, which could mean if it breaks it, it should have a lot of power to the upside when it does that. So right now I'm looking to try to get in on this, and we'll have the details on the trade ideas page. I haven't put it out there yet, but I will shortly, sometime today. Okay, so that's it. So I think that this has got the chance. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention about U.S. Steel, the average true range on this is only 85 cents a day, okay? So what I'm going to be looking at is I may even go further out than September's, just because this doesn't, this doesn't move now, a lot. Now, sometimes, get ahead steam, it can move, but what's the average true range back in here? Let's see. Let's pick this day. Okay, so started approaching $1. It's 0.96 cents. So, but when it got really bullish, I'm going to take you all the way back to 2003 when it started to take off. And okay, 2003 when it started to take off on its huge bull move, it can get some nice trends going. Okay, it can get some very nice trends. So even the average true range is 96 cents in there. So, but that's okay. It just trends. So the key is, if you're going to trade options on it, I think going out a couple of months or a few months and just trying to stay with the trend as best as you can. So that's what we're going to do, and see if it'll work. See if we get a break above this neckline and see if it'll pop. All right, this has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. This is it. This is it for today. If you felt that this video helped you in any way, please share the video on social media with all your friends. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It'll give you access to a Trade Ideas page and updates on blog posts and all the good things. And remember, trading is more than bars on the chart. So until next time, stay focused, follow your plan, and trade without fear. Have a great weekend, everyone.